Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Dobson 777 Alpha here. Okay, this is going to be a kind of a cool presentation here. We've got a whole bunch of information, charts and stuff we're going to go through later, but I want to start with the fact that I suspect we're heading into a new dark ages, and it has to do with the way we're misallocating resources tremendously, and it's just uh, God, there was a wonderful movie. It was called Tropic Thunder, and Robert Downey Jr. had a line that was fantastic. He says, "Never go full retard." Well, look, that's what's happening in this country. This is unbelievable. So let's go through some of the information. But by the way, the Dark Ages is kind of agreed upon. It's about 800 to 900 years, and now they're trying to rewrite history, saying it never happened. But if you go back and look at the artwork during that time, everything, there must have been some other things that happened besides just the fall of the Roman Empire that seemed to have started this whole thing off. So say around, you know, 410, I think, is when the Roman Empire finally fully collapsed and went 800 to 900 years past that. That is a long time. So I don't know if there was also some volcanic stuff that made life even more difficult, like nuclear type winter situations or something, but there was just endless wars and everything going on at that time. So I'm just wondering, based on some of the things that are happening now, we're going to go through some of this in detail. Let's see what this talks about. So first off, we have this snowflake cancel culture, and it's just some of this is crazy. You think about it. They're reducing California is reducing mathematics studies because this discipline has a disparate impact on subcategories of its student population. And it's like, if it's too hard, we can't have it because then everybody doesn't have an equal chance. That's the thought process. That's the retard that we have going on in this country. Women are now welcomed in the U.S. military even though they cannot pass the previously established test of physical ability. Due to disparate results, these exams have been modified, that is, weakened. Asian Americans must deal with the strict upper limit in admissions to such prestigious universities as Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, no matter that their abilities predict great success than other ethnic groups. And I'm going to tell you, this just comes flat out to IQ. They're ignoring IQ now, and they're actually depressing it to give other people the chance to get in there. But this is misallocating resources. You're not putting the best and brightest through this stuff, and you're going to end up with horrible outcomes. No longer is admission in prestigious centers of learning, such as Bronx High School of Science, based on examination. Disparate impact once again raises its ugly head. Again, what are they thinking? Remember, we're no longer failing anybody at any level of schooling, so everybody moves up through whether they deserve it or not, which means that piece of paper you're getting when you graduate from high school or college or whatever is almost meaningless, except for you, like when you get into college, you paid, 60,000 a year or whatever it is these days to get through it. So you're just paying for that, and this is horrible. This is horrible. I don't know if you saw this article. You know it's bad when a North Korean defector says U.S. similarities to North Korea are insane. And there's actually a YouTube video out there about this. But this woman says that she's just shocked going through college and seeing what the colleges are doing in the great United States, and it is horrible what she sees, and she can't believe it. Let's see, she's 27. She escaped when she was 13. Anyways, here's an interesting article. It'd be good to read, but people coming from horrible regimes see the same thing, and they're just shocked that this is even allowed to happen. The majority of our, we'll say, liberal bastions of cities, they resemble post-apocalyptic cesspools as America collapse accelerates. Why is it they're incompetent? Why is it they're unable to kind of, when information comes to them, they can't separate the wheat from the chaff? Why is it that their first thought is they can't decide that the people paying the taxes have a priority versus the people that are on the streets for whatever reasons We're going to get rid of police. None of this makes any sense to me. It's really strange to me. And then the fact that our whole medical group has really turned against the people too. They're medicating everyone. This whole article talks about a physician, 2 nurses, professional athlete, drug dealer, and a lawyer nodded off in court. Teenagers, 14 and 15-year-old and a 7-year-old, who got into a stash in the mother's purse. They're realizing that this is all fentanyl use and overdoses. We're self-medicating because of how horrible this is. This is dark ages, folks. This is dark ages. It's actually here, and we know who started this and who's responsible for it. So that's my lead in. I got one more. Have you noticed that we've got a major problem? Some of you have been talking about it. The drought has gotten astronomically horrible on this whole west coast here, and a tremendous amount of food is all generated in here. And they're saying, farmers, there ain't no water. So what are farmers going to do? Now, this happens periodically. This might be a 100-year event. It's not, global warming or whatever. Stuff like this occurs. And if you remember, this happened a few years ago, and then we had what was that thing called? Atmospheric river or something came by, and it was just, it rained and rained and caused all kinds of troubles that way. So nature has a way of kind of doing things, but it's causing a major problem with cattle. It's causing a major problem with food in general. So I don't know. I mean, I saw some pictures today. The Hoover Dam looks like it's dang near empty, and they're talking about they can't even fight fires now because there's not enough water or pressure to do anything. So this is starting to look quite horrible. There's no other way to describe this. It's absolutely horrible. Okay, I'm going to pat my back pretty hard on this one because I think I hit this unbelievably perfectly. Even though it's not the kind of news we wanted, it is clearly something that I felt was forthcoming, and it looks like it is happening. All right, let's get into the precious metals. A few days ago, I had a feeling something was about to happen, and part of it was our metals kind of get bid up whenever there's stuff going on over in the Middle East. And when all this stuff kind of settled down and we had a change in regime in Israel and everything, I kind of suspected that the fear trade was going to have a significant impact. But it also, the Fed decided to step in at almost the same time. So you had like a double whammy that was hitting here. So I was sitting here saying, guys, and boy, you should have seen some of the comments. People are like, what are you talking about? No, we're in a major bull run. We were sitting at some pretty significant prices for about gold, silver, and everything. And let's look at what's happened since then. In fact, I'd even put a warning that there was an Elliott Wave 5 technical indicator detected. And it said that the Wave 5 is the final leg in the direction of a dominant trend. The news is almost always universally positive and everyone is bullish. Unfortunately, this is when many average investors finally buy in right before the top. So you can see this is kind of an interesting shape the way this is. And I was like, you see how this had leveled off? This was concerning to me because it's like it wasn't moving up anymore. It was about ready to potentially fall. And this is why I was saying, guys, there's a problem. And by the way, this was all on the community tab. I was doing this real time for you. So it started like 4 days ago. And then this is what happened. All of a sudden, we had the Fed stepped in. We had a major drop. And then I put gold and silver together so that you could see what happened towards the evening here. And so you can see for the whole day we were down like 2.5% both simultaneously. And then I put together a chart trying to show that there's some significant support down here about 22.6. You might even be able to pick one up about 24 here. We'll have to find out where we're at. But I was showing this that we had dropped from 28 down to 26. In fact, we're sub 26 now. I'll show you the most recent chart. But if we get below this 22, look out below, we could be all the way back down to 18 again. So this is what most people fail to realize is silver has, since the 1970, when we went off the international gold standard. You could see silver has had just a very low slope here, very low slope. In fact, you can see it's only gone up 12 times, 12 and a half times since that period. And it's had only two significant major peaks here during that whole time. While gold has gone up 46.5 times. So greater than 3.7 times in increase. Now everybody says, well, silver's going to catch up. It's been depressed. It's all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Well, look, please think about history. History is telling you that silver is something that, and this is why I tell you, 80% gold, 20% silver. You want to spice it up, 70% gold, 10% platinum, 20% silver. But don't put all your eggs in one basket, because first off, when it does peak up, it's such a short peak. It's still an impossible trade. Where you see gold just has like a more consistent upward trend. So why do central banks, everybody buy it? Well, this chart shows you that. They're not buying silver because it just doesn't really do anything. Silver is super plentiful. It is pulled out of the ground as a byproduct. They're actually going after other things, and this is just a bonus to get it out of the ground. There aren't any real significant number of pure silver miners because it's so easy just to get out of the ground from surface mining for lead and other metals. So keep that in mind. And then lastly, this is another reason why you don't want to have the blinders on like all these other guys do with Maloney and everybody else. Somebody sent me a message and I answered them today. You got to be careful because those guys, it's an echo chamber when you're out there on these channels where I'm trying to open your mind to the huge, wide investing universe. And I decided back in 2010 to start moving towards real estate. And there's a reason why. And even this chart is showing you. Now, I'm not in res, I'm actually in physical, tangible real estate, but I just use it as an example, just like we'll use sometimes GLD to represent physical gold. But in this case, if you look at the REZ, since the last downturn when everybody lost their jobs, we had a glut of houses, tons of short sales, foreclosures, everything. You were able to pick up things at a proper price. Well, what happened is it's just had a phenomenal return. So you can see we're at over 3 times the return of physical gold. And guess what? You get paid every month. This is mailbox money in this. So that's another reason why the majority of the currency is going to move into something like this, because you're getting paid every day and people have to have a place to live. So keep that in mind. That's another reason why, again, my foundation, my pyramid is this. I have residential real estate because first off, it's leveraged. So I've got mortgages on the majority of this stuff. And so therefore, I'm using other people's money, and that's the way to go. I like the leverage of miners for precious metal miners for the similar thought process, because it's, again, if they can pull it out of the ground at half price or less, that's what I'm trying to buy. That's what I want to own, because you're actually getting the value of what's in the ground and their potential future. And I also love royalty companies for that same reason. They have 50 people in their company. They're not mining. They're just paying people to go mine and taking a percentage. That's a wonderful thing. And our royalties are doing fantastic, as you'll see shortly. So here's the current chart over the last 7 days. You can see we were at 1900 roughly for gold, and we came all the way down to 1764. We were at 28 for silver, and we're down below 26. So we're at 25.8 right now. Here's what happened since my prediction. This is when I started ringing the bell, said, guys, pay attention. We're about ready to crash here. And since that time, gold's come down 6%, silver's come down 7.75, large silver miners 9.69, and large gold miners 10.77. That's a pretty dramatic drop. Now here's what the numbers look like for gold. Looking back 1 year, I see support right here at 1684. Everybody's asking, should they be buying gold? Should they be buying gold? I'd say, guys, be careful. This is such a steep drop. Let's wait and see if we find support here. But you can see it bounced off pretty quickly, and we had a double bounce, and then it came up. So we don't know what's going to happen here. I'd be real careful, and let's see if we test this 1684 if we fall through there. Now here's the silver. The first support right here is around 24 roughly. So let's see what happens with silver. If we get all the way to 24, we done blew past 26. So let's see if we get down to 24, and then the next one below that is 22.6. And then we've got another one down here. It's going to be around 20. If we blow past 20, look out. We could be in that 18 range. So anyways, I'm kind of showing you this is the potential for silver right now. So here's what our physicals look like in the ETF version. We're down 7.52 for the year for gold. Platinum is down 3.15. SLV for silver is minus 6.43, and residential real estate is still up 22.7%. So again, because the mix of the way my portfolio is set up, it's roughly this. You can see I'm up 13.45 because I'm holding a much smaller amount of physical precious metals, and therefore my residential real estate is holding everything up fantastically. So it's another reason why you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now down here, the miners, GDX is down 5. Amazingly, the junior gold is down 12. Explorers are down 10. Large silver miners 5. And junior silver miners down 5.52. So I hope you can understand, we got a long ways to go, I think. We're going to have to find out, what the bottom is. There's a lot of crap that's going on where they're trying to shut off oil lease bidding and everything, and trying to move more and more to this solar and wind, which, doesn't work if there isn't any wind, and solar doesn't work if there's no sun. So this is bizarro land. Just watch what happens with Texas. They are screwed. They're on their own individual grid, and they've pushed so much in this renewable stuff that they are now going third world energy problems. So they're a perfect example of going full retard, and it's hard to believe the great state of Texas could do that, but that's what they're doing. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to do another video that I might release tomorrow that's going to show a lot of what's going on with the gardening and everything else. So this has already gone long enough. I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless. All right, go potty. We gonna go bye-bye? Are we gonna go bye-bye? Are we gonna go bye-bye? We gonna go bye-bye? Yeah, all right. You going to get in the car? We're not quite ready. I'm almost ready. You almost ready? Okay. I'll tell you, you got to walk all around your property and pay attention to things, but I got tons of blackberries that are ready to be harvested, so I got to go get a little cup and fill these things up. I was just shocked when I walked down here. I go, hey, what's that? So guess what? I got a little treat right now. Doug has a new toy. Doug has a new toy. Let me see it. You got a new toy? You're so happy. It's a little rabbit. Does that make you happy? Whoops. Got a little wag going on, huh? Happy boy.